Good afternoon, Namaste. My name is Jeff Schlicht. I am the lead practitioner with Namaste Center for Spiritual Living. I reside in Sedona, Arizona, and I once again adore the topic of adventures in faith, and particularly tonight. I just want to read it for you because I think it's really meaningful, and that is: diversity is inevitable. Inclusion requires intention. What we do and say will result in either inclusion or exclusion. It is up to us, and isn't that the truth? Always on how we step forward in our life. Diversity has always been here, and diversity always will be here. What's diversity? And that is we're all different. In regards to the stained glass window, it's what makes the wholeness of it absolutely beautiful. But that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But collectively, it's how we are and what that window looks like. Diversity is part of it. It is a principle and a factor of it. In fact, that principle in God is we are all that individualized expressions of God. There is no other me than me. And sometimes it's thank goodness, okay, because I can get crazy. That color, that stain of beautiful glass that I am, and as you are, there is no one else like you. Maybe how my piece of glass fits within the whole, but it's not dependent on the diversity of the different colors and the position of where I set within the oneness. That is that inevitability that we are all one. We aren't going to look alike. We don't have the same skin color. We don't have the same backgrounds. We don't all love in the same way. It is opening myself from the top down, opening my heart. How I am here is how I see that diversity in the world. Diversity is inevitable. It's going to be there whether I like it or not, or how I do it, or how I see it or not. The second part is this: inclusion requires intention. So what does that mean? What is that intention? For me, it means that I live a conscious life. Consciousness is a big word and sometimes used in various ways. So I like to keep it simple. I live a life of being awake and aware. So that is my intention, to take out all the automatic cords that I might have in my life. I know myself, and I know my relationship with God, and that is a lifelong activity for me. That is my intention, to be awake and aware of what's going on here, maybe untangle what I've stepped through and the experiences I've had that have created my beliefs. My intention is to live awake and be aware of who I am, how I see things, and when I see things, because the world is a mirror of what's going on within myself. Then I get to ask myself, if I'm conscious and awake, what is that? That didn't feel right. What was that coming up? And then I get to look at it, track it back, and see what's working for me and see what's not. I get to make choices within my life. What we do and say will result in either inclusion or exclusion. It's up to us. It's up to me. I am of that whole stained glass window. The activity of my life out here could be trying to fix things and so forth and so on, but it's doing nothing within the very core of who I am. That's my real contribution to the collective, or that oneness of that fullness of that stained glass. So even though where I've been, because it's my experience, has created emotions that have created feelings and beliefs within myself, maybe on the differences of how people look, how they are, what their mannerisms are. The list goes on and on. That diversity is already there and it's going to be there. My intention, yes, is to be aware of it, but the awareness needs to lie within me, because there is a duality that we live in. There is a truth of who I am, and that spiritual truth never changes. My experiences might have waned me off of what that truth is. How do I find my way back home in peace and balance and love, unconditional love of the differences and the diversity that we see? My beliefs are the gatekeeper of my inclusivity. And when I see things in the world, what moves me here is the work that I have to do, or the choice of my work to do. I get to change the belief system that I've had. Therefore, the beliefs that I've accumulated within myself is how I see and know the world. How I see and know the world is then how I step and move in the world. So my inclusivity, I get the choice to empty that cup and refill it with this truth of love, of peace, of balance, of how that means to me today, because this work is unending for me, and how I see and am in the world based on my experiences. But I also trying to bring myself home for my experiences, my language, my sight, my activity in this world, to have that inclusivity and know that love is the core of each and every individual, no matter how they present themselves, who they are, what their backgrounds are, what their ethnicity is. That truth that is God within me is also within each and every one of us. And just like the word namaste, that truth that lives in me, it's my work to recognize it in each and every individual. Not their behaviors, but not to base a generality on what an experience was, because that might have been one person. My work is done within myself. And that's what sets the course of my steps and that infinitude of the love that I already am, but that which I can show within the world. That's always a constant exercise, isn't it? It is for me. All right? I sure appreciate you for allowing me to share, be on the podium in this manner, coming from Sedona. I'm grateful for you. I love each and every one of you. And peace and blessings. Thank you so much. Good evening.